If there's ever been a moment for Patriots Nation to stay locked in on every little detail, it's right now. Foxborough is breathing change, tough decisions, hot rumors, draft possibilities, and that kind of movement that makes you feel like something big might be taking shape right in front of us. This is not the time to look at the Patriots with fear. It's the time to look with real attention, because when this many things start moving at once, there's usually a direction behind it all. And that's exactly the read we're about to make here, with emotion, honesty, and our eyes on the future. If you're living this moment with us, smash that like button. Some news hits with that mix of surprise and acceptance, and Marte Mapu's release lands exactly there. Nobody likes seeing a player who came in with real expectations leave like this, especially as a third-round pick back in 2023. There was curiosity, there was a plan, there was that feeling that his versatility between safety and linebacker could turn into something meaningful for New England. And at certain moments, it did flash. Mapu appeared in 48 games between the regular season and playoffs, started 10 of them, and created turnovers along the way. So no, you can't act like his run here meant nothing. But you also can't pretend the defensive impact ever fully came together. When you look at the most recent numbers, the picture gets a lot clearer. Last season, Mapu was on the field for just 9.5% of the defensive snaps. That matters. A lot. Because when a young player already knows the system, has had time to carve out a role, and still can't earn real usage on defense, the coaching staff is sending a message without saying a word. At the same time, it's only fair to recognize that he did bring value on special teams. That's where his role was steadier, with 59.5% of the snaps and work across the core units, including as the personal protector on punts. But maybe that's exactly where the shift in Foxborough starts to show. The Patriots seem less interested now in keeping useful pieces around out of convenience, and more willing to open roster spots for the kind of profile that actually fits the new vision of this team. And honestly, that should excite fans too. Because as tough as it is to see a name go, there's something important happening when the franchise shows it has the guts to reevaluate decisions, cut loose paths that didn't explode, and clear room for something that lines up better with what Mike Vrabel wants to build. This doesn't feel like some random roster cut. It feels like part of something bigger, and that detail makes the whole thing feel even more like a real transition. Mapu is the third linebacker to leave this offseason, following Jack Gibbons and Jelani Tavai. That grabs your attention way too hard to be a coincidence. It feels like an identity shift, a depth chart reset, a role adjustment, maybe even a more aggressive blueprint for the roster. So here's the question for Patriots Nation. Does this make you more nervous about the position right now? Or more confident because the team is finally making the changes it needed to make? Because whether you like the move or not, one thing is obvious. A lot is happening in New England right now, and every move is telling part of a much bigger story. And what if one of the most exciting decisions in this draft isn't on defense or the offensive line, but on a weapon that could completely change the way this offense breathes? Because that's exactly what this possibility feels like. We're not talking about a confirmed trade or some official team plan here. We're talking about projection, roster logic, and a scenario that starts making more and more sense the longer you stare at it. New England moving up in the first round to go get Oregon State tight end Kenyon Sadiq. And honestly, the more you look at that possibility, the harder it is to ignore how much juice it has. The traditional debate is already out there. A lot of people want an edge rusher, and that makes sense. Others are looking at right tackle as the priority, thinking about right now and also what could happen down the road with Morgan Moses. All of that is fair, but there's one question that keeps beating at the center of this rebuild. How do you actually speed up Drake Maye's growth? Because if this quarterback is the heart of the new era, then protecting him isn't enough. You have to give him answers. You have to give him targets, flexibility, safety valves, and explosive options. That's where a name like Sadiq storms into the conversation. The facts are pretty exciting on their own. Sadiq posted 51 catches, 560 yards, and 8 touchdowns in 2025. He also turned heads at the Combine and strengthened the idea that he could be the top tight end in this class. That part is on the table. From there comes the strategic read. If there's a real talent drop-off between the top names at the position and the next wave, then waiting too long could mean missing the chance to solve a real need in a major way. And the Patriots have already spent too much time trying to survive with decent solutions that never had enough weight to truly transform the offense. There's another reason this possibility feels so exciting. Hunter Henry is still an important, useful veteran, but the room changed. Austin Hooper didn't return, Julian Hill came in with more of a blocking profile, and that naturally increases the value of a tight end who can stress defenses and bring more explosion in the passing game. Just imagine what that could do in a Josh McDaniels offense. Imagine Drake Maye with another reliable option between the numbers, in the red zone, on third down. That changes the conversation. That changes the play calling. That changes confidence. And the best part is, this doesn't feel like desperation. It feels like intent. It feels like a franchise finally understanding where it needs to invest if it wants to grow faster. If Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf really are focused on improving the support system around Maye, like all the signs suggest, then moving up a few spots for a talent like this wouldn't be reckless. It would be a statement. So now I want to hear from Patriots Nation. If you were in the draft room, would you trade up for an impact tight end or stay put and attack another priority? Now the temperature rises in a different way because this is where hope, rumor, and projection start colliding. And that's exactly where Patriots Nation has to keep its head while still enjoying the adrenaline. The hot rumor is A.J. Brown. Rumor, not confirmed fact. What surfaced was a statement from A to Z sports reporter Easton Freeze saying he left the NFL owners' meetings convinced Brown will be wearing a Patriots jersey this fall. He didn't explain where that confidence came from, so nobody should present that as done deal reporting. But let's be real, you also can't ignore how loud a statement like that gets when Brown's name has already been orbiting New England for weeks. And let's be honest, it's impossible for fans not to feel the shockwave of a possibility like that. Even with the idea that he may not be at his absolute peak anymore, A.J. Brown is still a big-time receiver, a physical force, a real producer, and a name that commands instant respect from every defense in the league. Last season he put up 78 catches, 1,003 yards, and 7 touchdowns in 15 games. That's not smoke, that's WR1 production. So when a rumor like this starts catching fire, what moves the fan base isn't just the player. It's what that player would mean for Drake Maye, for the shape of this offense, and for the message this franchise would send to the entire league. At the same time, in the middle of all that heat, there's another major possibility worth watching. And again, the warning label matters. Zion Young to the Patriots is a mock draft projection, not insider confirmation. His name showed up in a projection from the Athletics' Nick Baumgardner, with New England using its pick to add edge pressure. And it makes sense. Young is coming off a strong final season at Missouri with 42 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. On top of that, there's been analysis saying his physical profile and his play style fit exactly the kind of defense Mike Vrabel wants to build. And that only adds more fuel to the conversation. What makes all of this so exciting is that both paths, even though they're very different, tell the same story. The Patriots are surrounded by aggressive possibilities right now. One raises the ceiling of the offense. The other reinforces the identity of the defense. One would be a market-shaking swing if the rumor turns real. The other would be a young, strategic investment if the projection becomes reality. And maybe that's why so many people are glued to every update right now. New England doesn't feel stalled, it doesn't feel numb, and it definitely doesn't feel like a team just watching the future pass it by. Patriots Nation, I need your take on this one. If you could choose only one move today, are you taking the immediate impact of A.J. Brown or the draft upside of Zion Young to strengthen the defense? There are mock drafts that just float by, and then there are mock drafts that flip on a light in the fan base because the fit feels way too clean to ignore. That's where Zion Young is right now, the Missouri edge rusher projected by Nick Baumgardner of The Athletic to the Patriots in the first round. And again, total clarity here. This is a draft projection, not some official sign that New England is definitely making that pick. But when a projection lines up with a real roster need, a physical profile, and a coach's defensive philosophy all at once, it stops feeling like random off-season content and starts feeling like something worth watching closely. Young finished his college career with a strong final statement. In his last season at Missouri, he posted 42 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. Baumgardner pointed to his length, powerful hands, and instincts for finding the football. Then Mass Live's Mark Daniels pushed the fit even further, saying Young's style matches exactly the kind of edge presence Mike Vrabel likes in his system. Strong, violent, good size, effective against the run, and able to pressure the passer too. And once you add in the detail that Young met with the Patriots at the Combine, and the team had multiple representatives at his pro day, this starts looking like more than random fan fiction. What makes this scenario exciting isn't just the player himself, it's the timing inside the roster. Kalavan Chason left in free agency, Draymond Jones was added to help, and Harold Landry is still an important piece, but he turns 30 this summer and has an injury history. So yes, the need for depth and future juice in the pass rush rotation is very real. And when you connect that need to a prospect who seems built for a demanding culture, with the body type, motor, and edge-setting mentality to thrive in that environment, it becomes easy to see why so many fans are warming up to the idea. And the most interesting part is that this type of pick also fits the bigger feeling around Foxborough right now. The Patriots don't seem to be chasing decoration. They seem to be building foundation, aggression, and staying power. A player like Zion Young wouldn't arrive with the same flash as a star wide receiver, but he could help give this defense a real face, a front that can start bothering opponents snap after snap after snap. And that matters too, because Patriots Nation knows how to recognize when a pick has less sparkle in the headline and more force in what it can become on the field. Now I want to hear the fan base loud and clear. If Zion Young is sitting there when the Patriots are on the clock, are you pulling the trigger, or do you still think another position has to come first? At the end of the day, this is what has Patriots Nation fully locked in right now. It's not just one headline, it's the flood of signals hitting all at once. There was a roster cut that shows real courage to reshape the team. There was a draft possibility that could inject life into the offense. There was a rumor that makes fans dream big. And there was a defensive projection that feels tailor-made for the kind of team Vrabel might be building. None of that guarantees anything by itself. But all of it together sends one clear message: movement, intent, and a rebuild with a real pulse. And that's exactly why every next step matters. If you're feeling that too, subscribe to the channel and stay with me for everything that comes next.